The other day, I went 20 wins and 0 losses with R&B's Sapphire Steel list. They're a top 25 player on Pixelborn and also a very innovative deck builder. This was, of course, until I lost my 21st match against the most infamous deck of all, British Internet. For this video, I put them through an extensive interview so I could find out everything I wanted to know, all the tips, tricks, nooks and crannies, so I could share it with you guys. They stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/RMB, so definitely go check them out. I'll leave a link in the description. With the rise of decks like Emerald Steel Discard to counter Ruby Amethyst Bounce's dominance, we can take advantage of this steel heavy meta by playing Cogsworth. In Zephyr's video, they show the stats of the rank 1 player's list, and their only less than 50% win rate ink combo was Sapphire Steel. This is because in that matchup, we nullify the effect of their discard by having a really strong draw engine, and we nullify Steel's damage-based removal through our resists in Cogsworth and Cinderella. This basically means our only somewhat troublesome matchup in the current meta is Ruby Amethyst, but we'll get to that later on in the video. The general game plan of this list is to establish our resource engine early into the game, so that we can then utilize an overwhelming ink and card advantage to demolish our opponents before they get a chance to catch up using our 5-lore heavy quester Bell. Our main line of play to achieve this is as follows. On turn 1, we play Pawpsicle to cycle through our cards. On turn 2, we play Eric as a threat to maintain board presence so that our opponent can't quest, or you can play Baby Cinderella as another way to cycle through cards if you're still missing that turn 3 ramp card. This is very crucial because on turn 3 we're going to Fishbone Quill or Mickey, which will enable us to ramp to 5. If you use Fishbone Quill, you'll have an ink left over, so if you have a Pawpsicle in hand, make sure to use it so you can cycle even more cards. Then on turn 4 we want to be playing Cogsworth or Beast. If you need the resist, like in the Steel matchup, definitely play Cogsworth first, otherwise Beast is a really good tool to draw cards. Then on turn 5, we're going to play Bell, allowing us to ink even more. This will be inking 3 times a turn, including Fishbone Quill and our normal ink. And then we're going to sing a whole new world with Cog or Beast to refill our hand and hopefully gain a card advantage because our opponents already had a pretty big hand. The deficit between how many cards in hand your opponent has, let's say 4, and how many cards we have in our hand, let's say 1, is the card advantage you gain by playing a whole new world. In this case, you'd have a card advantage of +3. After that whole new world, you've hopefully drawn a second Bell, and now you can play it and ink 1 more time to go to 10 ink total. If we've had the ideal line of play on turn 6 with 2 Bells out on the board, they'll both be questing for 5, and then we can play out the rest of our hand and hope we have a second whole new world or a Haram Flavasham to keep that draw engine running and continue to utilize our resource advantage to overwhelm our opponents. You don't always have to get the ideal game plan. In summary, the key points you're looking for are to be able to ramp on turn 3 so that we can play a 5 cost on turn 5 to enable us to sing a whole new world so that we can keep ramping and keep playing more cards. In my previous Resist Zoo and Tamatoa videos, I used a much more late game focused Pawpsicle engine that utilized Tamatoa and Nick Wild to recycle Pawpsicles, allowing us to continue to draw late into the game. However, in this version of the list, we both have other forms of draw and are planning on closing games out a lot earlier with Bell, so these recycle cards are somewhat unnecessary. Now, you may wonder how this deck fares into the current meta. According to R&B, if you play this list correctly, you can win every matchup, and honestly, I completely agree. As mentioned earlier, specifically for the Ruby Amethyst matchup, you'll have to play a bit more carefully due to removal tools like Lady Tremaine and the infamous Be Prepared. Make sure to put yourself in a position where you're applying just enough pressure to force their removal tools into inefficient usage, and always be checking their discard pile and checking what cards they've inked to see how many Be Prepareds are still in their deck. If they have 1 or ideally none Be Prepareds left, then we're probably safe to push for the win. Finally, a whole new world can be a really intimidating card to use, especially if you're not used to it. So make sure you're not costing too much tempo by hard casting a whole new world, and you're actually giving yourself a card advantage. One way to master this card is if your opponent is expecting you to a whole new world and they've dumped their whole hand, then we can take advantage of this by refraining from playing it and using our other draw tools instead. This means we can have our cake and eat it too by both limiting our opponent's resources while maximizing our own. For the Sapphire Steel Mirror, you want to be the aggressor and set up an ideally Cogsworth filled board that forces your opponent to a whole new world first and lose them tempo, letting you keep your resources while questing. Having an ink and card advantage isn't as important in this matchup because it is incredibly sticky in the mirror for both us and our opponent to remove a Cogsworth on the board without Cinderella. As if we've played Cogsworth, we have mitigated or even nullified their big Tinkerbells, grab your swords, and smashes. Because of this, if you want to maintain this board, we can use our removal on opposing Cinderellas before they get a chance to stabilize and remove our Cogsworths. In the Mulligan, 95% of the time, we want a hand with Pawpsicle, Eric, Fishbone Quill, Mickey, Cogsworth, or Beast, and a whole new world. If we've lost the coin flip against Ruby Amethyst, then we want to try to mulligan for Smash, so that we can remove their evasive mini before it gets to quest freely in our face for multiple lore. For some tips and tricks I learned from my interview with RMB, number 1, should you ever be playing more than one Fishbone Quill? In short, it's highly context dependent. If your opponent is playing Sapphire or Steel, I would be careful of item removal in this meta, such as a Benger or a Judy Hops, as losing a Fishbone Quill can heavily hurt our game plan to ramp. Number 2, make sure to use your low-cost fodder like Baby Cinderella and Mickey Mouse to soak up Lady Tremaine targets and not have your high-value cards removed, which should hopefully force them to use a Be Prepared inefficiently and give up tempo. If you have a Cogsworth on board, Lady Tremaine is their best answer, so the more we can prevent them from doing that, the more we can apply pressure on them and make it harder for them to win the game. Now, what would I change from RMB's list, as perfect as it is already? Honestly, I only changed 2 Judy, 2 Benger to 4 Benger because I was never really using Judy on a Pawpsicle as a budget Hiram Flavasham, and I didn't want to give my opponent a card when removing their flutes and Fishbone Quills. R&B doesn't agree with this change, so use it at your own risk. My understanding is I'm not a big fan of a 2-2 split card for the same purpose because most of the time I'd rather just for consistency of not giving my opponent a card when removing their items. That's it for the deck breakdown. R&B's list is a really cool evolution on the Resist Zoo concept I was experimenting with a month ago, and I'm glad to see Cogsworth absolutely tearing it up in the Steel meta. If you want to see how to play it, stick around for the gameplay. Okay, here's game 1 against Ruby Amethyst. This should be interesting. Okay, well this is maybe our weakest matchup in the meta, so let's see how we play it. It's a good thing we have Smash and the Mulligan, definitely something we want. I think I would normally keep all of these, but we don't have a 1 and a 2 drop, so I just desperately want to dig for that Pawpsicle and that ramp card. Unfortunately, we didn't get a 1 or a 2 drop, but we got every single Smash in existence. Cinderella's not something we're going to be using for ages, so we'll ink that. We've inked a mini, which tells me they already have a mini, or they're playing an Olaf instead. Maybe they know. They know that I can't do much. It sucks, but we're going to have to ink a Smash. I think they must have inked the mini because they don't have an evasive mini in hand. We're going to get quite a lot of lore out of this Olaf because we don't have a 2-drop. Oh, well, we have a 2-drop now. Too little, too late. I think we'll go straight into the Fishbone Quill because it's, you know, slightly better than the Mickey because we can reuse it, but the Mickey's still useful. It can go straight to the Inkwell. They did ink a Maleficent, so we can keep that in mind, that they only have 3 Maleficents. Perfect, we can go straight to a 5-drop this turn. Doesn't look like we'll need the Smash, and we just got the whole new world. That's amazing. Play the Beast here. Will the Beast get removed? It can't get removed by Lady Tremaine. They can't Dragonfire because Dragonfire costs 5? Yeah, I think Dragonfire costs 5. So I think we are safe to just Fishbone Quill the Smash here. So we can really just ramp super hard so that hopefully we can end up on 10 ink as quick as possible. So next turn we can play the bell and sing a whole new world with Beast. Ooh, another whole new world. Absolutely not needed.
So we can ink one whole new world. Ink a fishbone quill. Play the bell. And then sing a whole new world. So this will... I mean, they have, what, 6 cards right now? So we're going to gain a +6 in card advantage. Insane. Perfect. So we could play out the Cogsworth here. I think would be really good because it should keep our beast alive. So to do that, I think we're going to ink for Cinderella. We're going to 10 ink next turn, so we can go 5 and 5. We could play a Cogsworth plus a beast. We do have to be mindful of be prepared. Okay, that Maui's pretty rough. Good thing we have a grab your sword. It would be nicer if we had a Tinkerbell. Maybe we can dig for the Tinkerbell. Play the Pawpsicle out here. Okay, no Tinkerbell. If we go for a grab your sword here, and then we can trade into both the Merlin and the Madam Mim without taking damage by playing another Cogsworth. Yeah, that works with me. Ink that, and then I think we'll Fishbone Quill the Cinderella because the Hades is more important in this matchup. And we need the draw from Beast. Play the Cogsworth, that gives us the extra resist. Hardcast to grab your sword, that gets rid of the Maui. They can't be prepared next turn. Do we just want to quest? Questing feels better with the... because if they're going to be prepared on 7 anyway, the board presence probably doesn't matter as much. So we might just quest in their face and get ahead on lore. I think that makes more sense. And then if we keep the beast in hand, if they be prepared us, we can draw more cards and then just keep using our ink advantage. Okay, we're going to slam into the Cogsworth to remove it. Oh, we don't have quite enough though because we're 2 resist. The Madam Mim will be enough though. It can do 3 damage. Okay, so they can be prepared next turn. We'll have to keep that in mind. I think because of that, you know, Beast is probably not going to last till the next turn, so Haram makes sense here. Just get some extra cards in our hand. And force them into a position where they feel like they have to be prepared. I don't think I want to play the Hades. I could play the Grab Your Sword, just to get rid of the Madam Mim. I think that makes sense. So I'm going to do that. That way the Madam Mim can't trade into our bell, so we force them to be prepared, if they have it. And then we can take back board control with Hades and draw with Beast. Now we're only 6 lore away from winning now. Okay, they quest, they be prepared. Okay. And we're still good. Right, perfect, Pawpsicle, keep drawing cards. Do we go for the double Beast? It's a lot of investment, but I'd rather not hardcast for Hades, so I think double Beast makes a lot of sense. It's unlikely that they have another Be Prepared. They probably have a Lady Tremaine, though. Oh, we should have checked the discard earlier, that was a mistake. Oh, we discarded 2 Be Prepareds and a Dragonfire with that whole new world. That's why it's so important to get that whole new world out as soon as possible. Because when you get rid of the cards, we've kept in the Mulligan. But they've only got 1 Be Prepared left in the deck, so we can just go hyper aggro and go for the win, really. This could be really aggressive here. I'm tempted to... I definitely think we want to quest with the beast. There's no way we're not questing. They're not close to winning with the Merlin, so... I mean, the Lore Merlin is scary, for sure. That Merlin can trade into my beast. I think we go for the Hades, get rid of that Merlin. And then we've just seen they don't have a Be Prepared, so I think we just play the Benger. Oh, I did not mean... Can I cancel that? Nope. We're getting rid of our own Pawpsicle. This is basically BM at this point. Because we're probably winning the game still anyway. Okay, that's digging for the Be Prepared. Still digging. If they draw it now, they can ink and do it, and boom, that's done. And that, my friends, is how you play our weakest matchup but if you play properly, it's still really winnable. Obviously, we got a bit lucky with discarding the 2 whole new worlds, but we played in a way that allowed us to be lucky. Often in card games, it's all about creating situations where you're more likely to be lucky and you can take advantage of that luck. Alright, first game into Sapphire Steel with the new feature to see what ink it is before the game starts. Okay, so we've got some nice cards in the 5-drop slot here, but we really want to search for a Pawpsicle. There's no point keeping Haram while we don't have one. We really have to dig for 1 and 2 drops here, so I might just get rid of every 5 cost. Might not necessarily be correct. I'll keep Cogsworth because we can ink it anyway. Oh, and that is the worst Mulligan I've ever had. Oh, we should have got rid of the Cogsworth. Wait, did I accidentally keep 2 Cogsworths? I hope not. Right, well, I guess I will ink one of these Cogsworths. And now we just need to top deck perfectly every round. Oh, it looks like this might be a mirror. But they have the Pawpsicle, unlike us. Hopefully that means the matchup's a bit slower, but we have the Prince Eric saved by the bell a little bit there. I have a feeling Tinkerbell's not going to be too useful if this is a mirror, because we're going to have Cogsworths. So we'll get our Prince Eric now. Hopefully we can top deck a ramp card, like a Mickey Mouse or a Fishbone Quill. Definitely having Cogsworths is super important in this matchup though, so having 2 in hand is really nice. We probably should have kept the 3rd Cogsworth just so we could play it out. They're going for a, they might be going for a shift. Oh, and the Fishbone Quill! That's insane. Alright. There we go. Go into the Fishbone Quill. When we want to ramp to 5, they might Benja this Fishbone Quill, so I think we have to ink now. Get rid of the Hades, and then we'll just leave the Prince Eric as it is. Now all we need is like a whole new world, and then we're good to go. Yep, there's the Benja coming out. Nice, it's a good thing we inked there, so we can still go to 5 ink this turn. Ooh, that's really interesting. I definitely want to keep the Pawpsicle for cycle, but I guess the bell's not as important. Because inking again when we don't have a whole new world to draw doesn't make sense. So we'll just play the Cogsworth instead. And then next turn, if we get another card to ink, hopefully we can Pawpsicle and Cogsworth. Maybe we can just start questing in their face, maybe. We really want to get rid of that Cinderella because it could end up taking out our Cogsworth if it goes into the large Cinderella. Okay, there's the bell. They're going to go for some ramp. Ooh. I think we have to go for the Haram here rather than the 2nd Cogsworth because we need to draw some cards. We could ink here and play the Beast. I think it makes more sense to go for the extra draw. We just want to keep inking, keep our resources going up. Perfect. Big Tinkerbell's not that useful, so we'll ink her. Yeah, it definitely wouldn't make sense to quest here. We just need to keep setting up our board for now. We can save playing with 2nd Cogsworth until we actually start trading in. Okay, there's their Cogsworth, so we probably want to get the Cinderella out on the board soon to deal with it. I hope they don't quest this turn. We really don't want to take the pressure. But they're not at 10 ink yet. Nice, perfect. Yeah, I think we ink for Benja here. It's the least useful card because we don't have any good items to remove on the board aside from just really a Pawpsicle. It's Cinderella out on the board. Now if we get a song card, we can take out their Cogsworth. We just get like a Let It Go or a Whole New World would be perfect here. Oh, they've got a Cinderella now too. That is very scary. Ah, we didn't even get any removal. That sucks. Definitely think it's important to get some draw out, but it's also important to get the other Cogsworth out to protect our Cogsworth so it can't get one-shot by the Cinderella. Yeah, I think we'll do that. It's a little bit inefficient here. I think we have to waste the 2 ink and not ink this turn. This is such a large board, it's so scary. A song card would really save our ass here. I mean, yeah, no, because then we can remove the Cogsworth with our Cinderella. Oh, and now they can remove our Cogsworth because we've damaged it with a Grab Your Sword. This means at least we can remove their Cinderella though. Because of that, they might start questing this turn. Okay, we got the Whole New World first. I think that means it's time to ink. Yeah, so if we ink for Beast, then we sing a Whole New World with Cogsworth. And hopefully we get a removal card for their Cinderella. We do not. We can remove their Cogsworth. which is massive for this matchup. So their Cinderella still has resist +2. Is there any way to draw into a card to help us out? I mean, we don't really want to use another whole new world ideally. I think instead we just set up some resources. So we play the bell. This will let us ink again. We can ink for Prince Eric and then play the beast so we can get some extra draw on the board. They can threaten us with 7 ink, hopefully not more. Hopefully we can remove the bell before they reach 10 ink. I think we just leave it at that because of a resist +2 on the Cinderella. Really, you want to remove the Cinderella with like a Let It Go or a Hades. They're inking. They can ink twice because of a bell, but it's not enough to get to 10. I mean, unless they play like a Fishbone Quill or another bell. We've got 6 cards still in their hand. What did we discard? Oh, we got rid of 2 Cogsworths. That's awesome. One of them was just the one we killed, but we discarded one from their hand. Or banished, sorry. Okay, there goes our Cogsworth, which is unfortunate. Now we're vulnerable to grab your swords. We also inked a Cogsworth, so we've only got 1 left in deck. They have 2 left in deck, maybe even hand. We're at a disadvantage in the resources of Cogsworth. They smash our beast to prevent the draw. They're probably going to go for a grab your sword now. Or maybe not. Maybe they just smashed for the damage. Yeah, there's another Pawpsicle. If we draw into Benjers, we could remove some of those. Probably not worth unless we remove both. Our hand from that whole new world was not ideal at all. Although, because Beast has been damaged now, it can take out Cinderella. It does 7 damage. So we might just have to do that. We can play another bell, which would let... We can ink twice. Might as well, honestly. So now the bells can quest for a lot. And then we could sing. Or we could just use the Cinderella to attack cards. I think we definitely want to use this beast to take out this Cinderella. It just makes sense to me. And then we could use this Cinderella to take out that beast, and then we could just go for questing maybe. Yeah, rather than singing with the Cinderella. So I'm going to whole new world. Perfect. Because we have an extra bell, we can ink again. We could get rid of the Benja, which gets rid of some of their questing potential. So ink this Cinderella. Can we ink again to Pawpsicle? No, we can't. Yeah, I definitely think it makes sense to smash the Benja here then. Because we're not going to be able to remove the bell. I mean, we can remove the bell, it depends. Do we want to get rid of the bell or the beast? I'm okay with them drawing cards because we already have a ton of cards, so I think we get rid of the bell here. If we quest with our bell, they can trade both into it, which isn't ideal. I think we go for it anyway, just to start getting some questing on the board. Start racing them down now that we have board presence. They might not trade in the beast because it leaves their beast vulnerable and means we can't draw with it. Okay, grab your sword. They might play another one just to remove the bells. Not having the Cogsworths here is where this matchup's going to get really difficult. Yep, there's 2 grab your swords. That's really tricky for us, as I think we only have 2 bells left in the deck. We might have inked a bell, I don't quite remember. Cinderella's going to take out our Haram. We can take out their Cinderella with the Hades at least. Take out their beast with our Cinderella. So we are still going to have board presence at least. We can only ink once, so we can't go 7 and 7. So that means we definitely play the Pawpsicle first for the draw. Okay, cool. Hades on the Cinderella. Cinderella on the beast, so we can't keep drawing. We do have a whole new world. I don't think Tinkerbell's going to be that helpful, so I'll ink her. Getting to 14 is really important, so that we can do the 2 7 costs, and then we can get rid of 1 Pawpsicle. And because we're not playing Judy Hopps here, we haven't just given them a card, which would be really awkward in this situation, which is why I much prefer a 4 of Benja, just for that consistency. They're probably going to get rid of our Cinderella now. We're now at 14 inks. We won't even have to ink anything to play out both Venger and Cinderella. Gaston is a priority target to get rid of because it... is it when they quest? Okay, no, it's just when they play. They scry free. Okay, but yeah, it's priority anyway because of a free ink. Smash isn't going to get rid of it. So we definitely just go for the Hades on the Gaston. And then the Cinderella. And then let's just go for questing. We do have a lot to quest with now. 5 plus 9. We're going to be able to get rid of a Avenger with a Hades. And something else with this Hades. Yeah, there goes with Cinderella again. We are very ahead on resources right now. If we need to, we can smash the beast so that they can't draw. It might not be entirely necessary though, because I'm thinking of whole new worlding. That we can keep playing cards. Wasn't fully necessary to heal up the Hades there. Okay, but I definitely think we're going to ink the Fishbone Quill here. Because we just want pure tempo here. We're going to push for the win. Do we play the Smash to stop the beast from drawing? I don't think so. Because if we're about to whole new world anyway, like, what does an extra card matter, right? And we'd rather them not be able to 7-2 trade into a Hades. So yeah, definitely think we're going to go for the whole new world here. Perfect. I like playing the Pawpsicle just to cycle and see my options. Grab your sword is not doing a lot here. I think let it go on the beast makes a lot of sense because we stop them from drawing. And we're not going to sing it because we want to start applying questing pressure. Right now 2 Hades trades into 1 Hades, so we can play our final Cogsworth to prevent that. And then so that we get a draw and some more questing power, we're going to play another beast. So we are threatening a win here with +8 lore. They can't take out any of our characters with just what's on board here. So they're going to have to play some resources from hand as removal. Just to remind you guys here, we started out without a turn 1 play. This is such a slow matchup, but it just really matters how you use your resources in the mid-game. Okay, I think that's their final Hades, but they've just played down, because we've already gotten rid of one. That's their 3rd Cogsworth. They resist don't matter as much to us, because we're just looking to close out the game now. Like, unless we start putting some bells down, we're not really threatened. This is why it's so important to be the aggressor in this matchup, because they just can't catch up. Like, they have no tools to deal with our Cogsworth now that there's no Cinderella on the board, and we are so ahead on lore that there's just no way they can catch up. Like, they're trying to chase us back here because they know they can't remove a tool, but look, it's only +9. And like, we've just gotten a bell. Like, there is nothing they can do. If we just quest in their face. Like, how are they going to stop us from winning here? Avenger, boom, that's another win condition. Well played, CGG. They can't deal with this board, it's just too much stuff. Boom, that's the game, that's the mirror. The mirror is a difficult match to play if you don't know what to do, but now with these tips, you should be able to win most Sapphire Steel mirrors you play into, as long as your opponent doesn't also know the win condition.